DC the beat man.
So epic.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, in today's society, we don't have a lot of standards in place, sadly. For example, the NBA MVP, that don't even have really good standards. Like, everybody's trying to move the goalpost. So on this video, I'm going to talk about a few things, but we're going to talk about NBA MVP criteria, the 3-time MVP list, the horseshoe listing. That's why I call, that's the listing I got for the haters. The fourth one is then Nikola Jokic, because he's a top MVP candidate this season. And then finally the conclusion, because I think it'll just sum everything on up. All right, so look, this is the 3-time NBA MVP winners, or at least the consecutive 3-time NBA MVP winners. And it's a short list. Ironically, it's 3 people on the list. Let's talk about them in chronological, or at least let's list them in chronological order. We'll talk about them a little differently. So we got Bill Russell, who did it first. Then we got Wilt Chamberlain, who did it next, followed by Larry Bird, who did it the last. It's a good listing here. I'll give that to you. We're going to start it off with Larry Bird, because this one was really cut and dry. I'm a Laker fan. Let me just say that right quick first, right? So I was really going to battle for Magic Johnson, man. I'm like, yo, there's no way in the world Larry Bird is definitively better than Magic Johnson. Plus, you got to think Larry Bird's team was stout. Like, he was always on the stacked squad. But when you look at the man's, like, you go into detail based on my criteria, all right, cool, yeah, he won those, like, deservedly so. Because, again, in 84, right, 84 through 86, that's when he won his three-peat. Well, let's look at 83, for example, right? Well, right before, he was second in league, or in voting, so he could have won 4 in a row. It's crazy. But he lost to Moses Malone, who, by my estimation, he beat him in win shares. Moses Malone was first, Larry Bird was second. The stats battle, I personally thought it went to Moses Malone. If you want to argue that, cool. But I think Moses Malone outplayed Larry Bird, except for assists, of course. But looking at totality, Larry lost. So Moses deserved that, especially when his team was pretty good that year, fit the criteria. So I'm cool with that. Larry lost that one and won the next. And based on my criteria, it follows. 84, he was second best in win shares and won the stats battle. Oh, his team was the best. So cool. You all right, fine. I don't see anybody with a better situation right now. 85, you got the best win shares. You win the stats battle. Best team. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he hits all the check boxes. Same in 86. So for Larry, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I expect Larry Bird to win that three-peat easy. The one that Nikola Jokic actually reminds me of most is the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain situation, believe it or not. Because this is where it gets a little tricky. Now, funny enough, Bill Russell actually won his MVPs when Wilt Chamberlain was playing. All right, so let's give you the rundown real quick. Again, I said 61 to 64, Bill Russell wins. Well, guess who won it the year, like right before Bill Russell did? Wilt Chamberlain. He won the MVP. This is for the people who say, oh, it's if you don't win a championship, it's usually okay. Well, based on that logic, Wilt Chamberlain should have never won in 1960 because he won it his rookie year. That's the reason why he's the Rookie of the Year award. He won the MVP during his rookie year. So by your logic, again, shouldn't have won it. Now I can hear you on saying, well, no, I'm talking about back-to-back. Well, you're still saying because of someone's postseason production, they should not win the MVP. Again, I stated it's a regular season award, not postseason included. So Bill Russell apparently beats out Wilt Chamberlain during Wilt Chamberlain's MVP season. He's averaging 38 points, 27 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. That's disgusting. Now, the next season, he's averaging basically the same thing. The only difference is 1.9 assists. Mind you, they don't include stats and steals and blocks, or else this would be disgusting. But they didn't record that back then. He lost to the guy who, he lost to the defending, or Bill Russell beat the defending MVP, and that guy put up the same numbers. I understand Bill did his thing. I understand Bill's on the better team, but off value, Wilt Chamberlain is easily more valuable. All right, cool. That's fine, though. Maybe we're expecting more out of Wilt Chamberlain, so you give it to Bill. It's not like he didn't deserve it. Just, I would have thought Wilt Chamberlain got it over him. The next season in 62 is quite egregious. How do you get 50 points, 26 rebounds, and 2.4 assists and not get an MVP? I understand your team is number 3 in the league. I understand that there's only 8 teams in the league. I get that. For real? We can't get MVP off that? If you're noticing, I have an argument against Bill Russell that he should not have won the awards based on the regular season that was played. But yet, he was given it. Why? Well, 1, he deserved it. But 2, he also played on the best team, and his stats weren't bad either. It's just Wilt Chamberlain should have won those, though, personally. So if we want to go at, Nikola Jokic, let's make a little pit stop at Bill, personally. That's just me, though. Maybe you disagree, but that's just me. Let's talk about when Wilt won it. Like I said, he deservedly did so. Because during that tenure, the closest win shares we had was like 4.3 and 4.5. That's Jerry West and Big O. Y'all know those guys. That's the closest win shares we are. Like, you have to discredit him by team. That's the only way you can. So, yes, stats don't always tell the tale. But, sometimes you got to look into those details and realize, all right, well, yes, this guy's on this team, but this guy is really doing work right now. Like, really doing work. And if the stats aren't that if there's a landslide in the stats, bro, you've got to tip your cap to that guy and stop being biased. So that's the back-to-back, the consecutive 3-point MVP listing. Again, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird. I don't think they all deserved it. I haven't heard discredit yet of them, but you hear discredit of Nikola Jokic. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, this is actually about to address the bronze stands in a second. So, definitely stay tuned because the horseshoe listing is on the way.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. We get buckets around here, too.